We are taught how to build a career. We are taught how to be successful. But no one teaches us how not to abandon ourselves in that process. I'd like for you all to lean back and close your eyes for a moment. Unclench your jaws and take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, drop your shoulders. Now reconnect to the child you once were. Before the expectations, the comparisons, before the world told you who you are needed to be accepted. Who is that child? What are its dreams? What does it make it truly happy and free? And now ask yourself very honestly, is the life I'm living a love letter to my inner child or an apology for abandoning them? Now you can open your eyes and sit with that reflection. Well, the life I'm living now is a love letter to my inner child. But it didn't start that way. Growing up, I always believed my worth came from performance. Marks were not just marks, they were identity. If I scored well, I was valued. If I didn't, I wasn't. And so I started learning this early, that to be loved, I must achieve. And if we are honest, this isn't just my story. Most of us have learned this somewhere along the way. And so we have stopped asking, what do I want? And started asking, what will make me worthy? And that question will give you a life that will look right, but feel wrong. And so I did everything right. I studied hard, went abroad, got a job offer in Singapore. Everything that should make me feel like, wow, I've made it. But something felt off. I didn't find the whole 9-to-5 setup true to who I really was. And that's when I realized, you can build a life that looks perfect on the outside and still feel disconnected on the inside. And so, I asked myself a different question this time. Not what will make me successful, but what will make me feel like myself again. So around that time, I came across this volunteering opportunity in Ladakh. Ladakh, the land of high passes. Of course, it didn't make any conventional sense, no clear career path, no job security. But something inside of me said, go. Just go. And so, I did. Not because I had clarity, but because for the first time in my life, I trusted myself. And that decision changed the whole trajectory of my life. What started as a volunteering opportunity soon became a homecoming. Not just to a place, but to myself, my inner child. I started reconnecting to my childhood. And for the first time in my life, I was not performing, and I was simply being. And to be honest, that felt quite uncomfortable because I didn't know who I was without that. When we have spent our whole life performing, we forget how to just be. But slowly, I started returning to myself. Not through some big, major, magical breakthroughs, but through smaller moments, like swimming in the glacial lake, hiking those mountains, sleeping under the blanket of stars, farming with the locals, dining at their place, running in the wild and getting my feet dirty in the soil. So many moments like that. I also returned back to my creativity through photography, through art. Not to be seen, but to simply express, because our inner child doesn't care about seeking validation. It just cares about expressing, even though it's messy. And so that is when I realized that your inner child doesn't come back when you achieve more. It comes back when you stop performing and start being. Just being. I started reflecting on my journey from there. That what will I do further? What will be my next steps? Now, this is where it'll be relevant to you all. Because you don't need Ladakh to experience this. You need just one thing: permission. Permission to not perform. Permission to not prove. Permission to just be. Everything I do today is built around that one idea. Today, I do wellness retreats in Ladakh. Truly transformational journeys that have helped many people reconnect with themselves. The self-connection that they had lost while chasing fame, success, money, love. Not that these things are bad, but they had put it on pedestal over them. So what do they do at the retreat? They meditate with the monks in ancient monasteries, soak in the natural hot springs, reconnect with their body through yoga and apricot orchards. I guide their healing through balancing the 5 elements. Through art therapy, they process their emotions which they can't put their words to. They hike the Silk Route trails which once traders did, and harness the power of universe by meditating under the Milky Way galaxy. They also walk with the Changpas, the last nomadic tribe of Ladakh, singing with the shepherds while their herds graze, and working with the raw wool that later becomes world-famous pashmina, such as this one. These are not just activities. These are intentional moments curated for them so that they can step out in a world beyond them, where they can simply be without needing to prove their worth. And before they leave the retreat, they plant a tree and feast with locals. And somewhere along that journey, they don't become someone new. Rather, they return to their true self, more connected, not just to themselves, but to the place, the land, and the life around them. Now you must be thinking, wow, that sounds beautiful, but I can't quit everything and go to the mountains. Well, you don't have to. You don't have to escape to the Himalayas. You don't have to quit your job or education. You don't have to change your life overnight, because this was never about where you are. It's about how you are. It's about this one shift. Stop abandoning yourself within the life you already have. I repeat, stop abandoning yourself within the life you already have. Now sit with that reflection. So, what does it actually mean to live a life that is a love letter to your inner child? Here is what it means. Number 1, stop measuring your worth. You're not here to prove you deserve to exist, so just live freely. Number 2, choose what feels real, not just what looks right. Remember, alignment will give you more fulfillment than approval. Number 3, choose and create moments to just be, even if it's just like 10 minutes in a day. Number 4, be your own safe space. In a world that is so chaotic, may you be your own safe home to return to. And lastly, whenever you're making any big decision, ask yourself, is this a love letter or a compromise? Because when you start living that way, something changes. You stop chasing worth, you start embodying it. You stop asking, am I enough? Because your life becomes the answer. Once again, I'd like you to please close your eyes and reconnect with your inner child. She doesn't need you to be perfect. She doesn't need you to impress anyone. All she needs from you is to love and choose her or him unconditionally. Now give yourself a gentle and a warm embrace, connecting to your inner child. So, go out there and don't just build a successful life. Build a life that feels like a love letter to the one who was always enough, your inner child. Love and light to all. Thank you.